Hello and welcome to India at 100, Growing Responsibly and Safely Season 3, the series that highlights our commitment in building a sustainable India by 2047. India, one of the fastest growing economies in the world, is at the cusp of green revolution. With rapid urbanization and industrialization, we are presented with an opportunity and responsibility to ensure our economic growth is sustainable. As part of its global commitment to sustainability, India has set bold targets to reduce its dependence on fossil fuels. By 2030, the country aims to achieve 500 gigawatt of non-fossil fuel capacity, generate 40% of its electricity from renewable sources, and reduce its carbon intensity by 45%. These goals are not just numbers. They represent a blueprint for a greener and more resilient future. But as we build for the future, we have to ensure that this growth is sustainable. And the EPC sector is uniquely positioned to lead this transformation, from designing energy-efficient buildings to integrating green technologies at project sites. EPC firms are at the forefront of driving sustainable development. And to explore these developments, today I have with me Mr. Dipesh Nanda, the Managing Director and CEO of Tata Power Renewable Energy Limited. Welcome, Dipesh, to the show.
Thank you very much.
So, Dipesh, let's start from the basics. We all would like to understand this also. So most of the power from the construction sites come from these traditional methods like generators, or you talk about thermal power. What are the challenges when it comes to the construction sector? How is it possible that I make the consumption and I make the moving of my energy resources very sustainable?
I think we're in the midst of energy transition. The world is now embracing the green electron faster than ever before. And there are three primary reasons why this is happening. The first is environment. We have the 1.5 degree issue to solve. Maybe now it's 1.7 degree issue to solve. Second is that the cost of electricity today for a renewable energy source is lower than the thermal source. And third is it also augurs well in terms of energy security for countries. Let's take the example of India. India has an installed base of 450 gigawatt, give or take, of which bulk of our installed base currently is coal. While we have enough domestic coal, but there's an import element of coal. We also have natural gas-based power plants. On that front, most of it is imported, especially for the grid-scale power plant. There is some allocation from domestic, but most of it is imported. And that's where the aspect of energy security comes in. So I'd say that, going green is a function of saving the environment. It's happening at an affordable cost, and it offers well for security. From a construction industry point of view, the renewable energy projects tend to be at places which are, at extreme conditions of, say, temperature, for example. You would operate in the desert lands, and hence our adaptability to building these projects in that zone, I think, is something that the industry should be prepared for and is also gearing up for. Secondly, the vast amount of land required for these projects is of a multiple order of magnitude as compared to a thermal project, which was the case in the past. So if you have to put up a 1,000 megawatt power plant, which we are doing in Rajasthan right now for one of our clients, it's over an acreage of 6,000 acres. Whereas if you were to put up 1,000 megawatts on thermal power plant, you could probably do it in less than 100 acres. So you're talking of a multi-fold increase in the land parcel that the construction team should be capable of addressing. These are the kind of typical challenges that one would face. On the flip side of it, the technical intensity of construction is far more of a different order, lesser as compared to a thermal power plant. If you take thermal, there's so much of construction that happens below the ground, and then you have the construction that happens of the boiler, the turbine, and so on. And the temperatures that you handle in a thermal power plant, you might go to as high as 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit, which calls for a different level of engineering that goes into that. From a safety point of view, for example, Whereas those elements are much more nuanced in a fashion which is pegged at a different scale as compared to a thermal plant. So ease of engineering, difficult sites, much larger sites to execute. That's the world of renewable energy for you.
So Dipesh, while all these challenges exist, and I would like to understand, in fact my viewers would like to understand, कि when it comes to working with EPC partners like Tata Projects, how is it possible to attain all these things? Any success story which you would like to share?
I think we've had a fantastic run with Tata Projects, and I'll give you a success story which is very close to my heart. So the Indian government embarked on this journey of Make in India, and the renewable energy sector was one of the first sectors which the Indian government was very keen that we go completely local. This was backed by policies that encouraged investments to go local, and Tata Power was one of the first companies that applied under the PLI scheme of the Indian government to build a large-scale solar cell and module manufacturing plant.
Yes, I remember that.
Now, this plant came up in the state of Tamil Nadu at a place called Gangaikondam in Tirunelveli, and was built by Tata Projects. I think this plant probably is the only plant that has come on time, at efficiency, and at the cost or lower than the cost that it budgeted. It's not just that it's met these parameters, but all this has happened keeping safety in mind, keeping quality in mind, making sure that we deliver on time, and as I mentioned, cost. So my big thanks to the team at Tata Projects. While the execution happened, of course, passions ran high, and we were at it both from Tata Power Renewable Energy Limited and Tata Projects and Tata Consulting Engineers that did the engineering blueprint for the plant, and all our other partners that came together. But today, when you see the end result of that, our plant is running at base load capacity, both for module manufacturing and cell production. Now, what this does for the country is that it gives you, again, the security of your supply chain. And again, I feel very, very proud to say that we have led this all the way for the industry, and the industry is just getting started. So that's an example that I would not hesitate to mention and compliment the team at Tata Projects for having lent their best effort, and it's out there for everyone to see. Most of the supplies happening in this plant currently are for Government of India projects, and it falls under something called a DCR, which is a domestic cell content that is needed for these modules. And again, very happy that we've been able to meet the obligations that we had signed up for with the Indian government, in conjunction with partners like Tata Projects.
That's so fascinating. Thanks, Dipesh. And now let's look ahead. Now with this India's bold renewable energy plans and everything, where does Tata Power Renewable Energy plan to scale it? What are their efforts when it comes to the construction sector?
Thank you very much. So as we know, India has this ambitious plan of 500 gigawatts of renewable capacity by 2030.
Yeah.
I'll take back what I said. It's no more ambitious. This will happen. And it will happen with industry players, one of which is Tata Power Renewable Energy Limited. On the construction side, we supply green electricity to the CNI segment, which is the consumer and the industrial segment. So any company that has its own plans of going green, and many of these companies have signed up pledges, like RE100, for example, the 100 companies that said that they want to green by this timeline, we're working with many of them to help them in their journey to go green. There's a lot of demand within the group. So we are doing, as an example, 1,000 megawatts currently for Tata Steel. We are doing some large projects for Tata Motors. That's one big segment that is expanding for us. Again, very close to my heart is the rooftop solar program. So the Indian government has launched this particular program called the Pradhan Mantri Surya Ghar Yojana, in which up to 3 kilowatts, there is a rebate that's offered by the Indian government. It operates on a direct transfer scheme. And the consumers who are in the range of 4 to 5 kilowatt, it's a massive benefit for them. They get up to a 78,000 rupee rebate on a system that would cost them, say, 2.5 lakhs. There are a few states like Odisha and Uttar Pradesh who have given another top-up incentive or a subsidy over and above what the Indian government has offered at the center, which makes the payback equation for your own rooftop solar, which can power your home for up to, say, 5 kilowatt, and the returns are almost instantaneous. We have taken a pledge that we will power almost 3 million homes, and we are the largest player in that sector. This touches human lives. It's a B2C business. We have a full arrangement of channel partners, and we're very, very happy and proud that we've been able to contribute to nation building through the rooftop solar program. And to weave this in for the construction sector, when you look at elements of which sector needs to go green, power stands out clearly, that we move from fossil to renewable. And then you have the manufacturing sector that will also need to move. There are many industries within manufacturing. I mentioned, say, for example, steel. But one sector that needs to really focus on how to go green is the construction sector. And that's where, with the advent of this kind of an installed base that we are building, by FY27, we should easily have 16 gigawatt of capacity. All this green power augurs well for the construction sector, for them to aggressively go green, such that our total carbon emissions across these major sectors like powers, industries, steel, construction comes down. And then we are in a position to meet those targets of going net zero by 2070, a pledge that the country has taken, and going net zero by 2045, which the group has taken, which is Tata, our entire group. So we're playing our role, and I'm very happy to be working with partners like Tata Projects in this journey.
Dipesh, it is so inspiring. There were many things which I also didn't know about Tata Power. So before we close, what message would you like to give to the industries who are exploring renewable energy?
I think the first message would be that the moral aspects of going green are paramount, and hence one would embrace green energy. But I really want to leave this message for the industry that today, even in terms of cost affordability, green electricity, a green electron is cheaper than your thermal electron. Now, there could be this question looming large in a few minds, is that green energy is intermittent. You only get solar during the daytime, you might get wind in the evening, but what happens in between? And to that question, I really want to instill a degree of confidence with the industry, is that today there is this technical possibility for the green electron to replace the thermal electron 1:1 to the load curve that you need in your industry at a cost which is lower than your current cost of electricity. And that's been made possible through complex modeling of the type of solar plants you build, integrate them with battery storage, integrate them with wind turbines. And then Tata Power, for example, has embarked on building pumped hydro storage. But with a combination of these three technologies, and then we have pumped hydro coming up in 2027-28, today itself we have the capability of replacing the thermal electron 1:1, round-the-clock basis, RTC, at a cost of electricity which is significantly lower than your grid cost of electricity. So nothing should stop you from accelerating your journey to going green.
Thank you, Dipesh, for your insights.
The pleasure was mine. Thank you so much.
And thank you all for joining us in this episode of India at 100 Growing Responsibly and Safely Season 3. Stay tuned for our upcoming episode where we'll keep exploring the innovations and partnership in shaping the India's journey to 2047. Thank you.